So copper is a softer metal that's used for, you're cleaning glass bottles. Sometimes people like to use it for cleaning cast iron.
Yeah, that's awesome. But I was actually talking about Cyndi Lauper, the singer. Just another day here at the warehouse. Got a lot of product to move. I'm going to be focusing my attention in this area right here today. A bunch of this stuff right here. Peaches is on his way. He'll be here shortly. But man, I'll tell you what, all the staff coming in the morning, it just really gets me excited. How to how you do, cousins. It's Rusty here, and we got so much cool stuff for you today. I've got a lot of work to do, as you can see, but I'm going to wait to get really into it until Peaches gets here. So in the meantime, why don't I show you some stuff that we've sold recently, give you some ideas, and also maybe put a smattering of stuff in there that I saw at a local thrift store this week. Let's do it. Well, how you do. Cousins, it's Rusty here, and today I wanted to kind of do two things. First off, I wanted to show you some stuff that is selling in the store right now. Currently, some stuff that has sold, kind of a what sold in the last month. And then also wanted to kind of show you a couple of clips of me being out sourcing and a couple things I came across. So we'll kind of go through all of that. I'll try to put some of those sourcing ones in between to kind of help you to stay, kind of stay interested in what we got here. So first off, I'm going to bop over here real fast and show you that in the last 30 days, as you can see, see right here, we've sold 197 items in this eBay store. I'm not going to go through every one of them because I don't want to bore you, but we've got lots of different ones. Right now, as I'm speaking to you, in the next, within the next hour, we've got $127 as of the moment of these 5 lots. And the reason this is important is that I recently dropped a video about $25. I paid for about 5 pounds of what was called junk watch bands or watch parts. What I did was I took that apart and I put it into about a dozen different small lots. Watch bands that were still in their cases, women's watches for scrap that were made of some gold-plated stuff, some men's watch bands, and then some other just movements. And you can see right here, for my $25 investment, I've got so far 127. I've already sold $60-some worth of 2 other of the lots earlier today, and then others might sell later today. If not, I might reduce the price and relist. So at a bare minimum, I'm going to get about $300 out of that $25 spent. I still have several things. I've still got really valuable stuff with diamonds in it and also some stuff made of solid gold, believe it or not. So real excited about that. But without further ado, let's jump in here and look at some of the stuff that was sold. First off, we have one of these matchbooks. Still got tens of thousands of these left to sell. This is from between the 1930s and 40s. You can tell that just because of the size of the striker here. This has never been struck. Well, I say it's never been struck. You can kind of see some lines there, so it has been struck. But anyhow, cool looking thing, $10. It says best offer accepted. I think I took about $8 on that. But I basically have made all my money back, so anything I make on these is pure profit. Recently at a little antique place with a couple of these crystal or glass stoppers that would have gone down in little, sometimes it's perfume jars, sometimes it's decanters, things like that. But what you want to look for, guys, is see if the metal is made out of a precious metal. In this case, these are both made out of sterling silver. If you get out your little loop, which I've said in a previous video you should always have with you, and you look down there close, you can see that this says sterling. Do you see that? Sterling silver. Same situation over here with this other one. It's right here. If you look down here on the neck of this, boom, you can see it right there. Sterling. It's marked. Keep an eye out for that guy's stuff. Sometimes you can get these things for really cheap. Next one we have here, guys, is a pair of Versace sunglasses I found at a Goodwill. I think I paid $6 for these, and I got 24 bids. I think I started at 99 cents, and got $61 out of that plus the shipping cost. So I was quite happy with that one. Here we got the John Wesley's Hymns. It's a songbook from the 1800s. Methodist, John Wesley here. And again, I paid, I think, $2.49 for this. 18 bids, $26. That's another another Goodwill find. Here's something you should always look out for, guys, is vintage pocket watch chains. And they'll have different types of clasps there, but get familiar with those. A lot of times people will sell them and think that they are costume jewelry or just junk chains, but a lot of these things can be gold-plated or rolled gold, or actually made out of solid gold. So this one, I think I paid 50 cents for this and sold it for $17.50. Right here we got, this was something that I bought at a local thrift shop, and I think that they thought it was just costume jewelry, but it was actually made out of gold. So I paid $2 for it and sold this for $43.09. You always need to carry a loop with you, and you need to carry a magnet. Make sure you can test those metals to see if they're magnetic or not, and look at the stamp on there so you can tell what it's made out of. Right here we got a bat. Paid $2 for this at a Goodwill. Almost all the time they're $2 to $3 for bats, regardless of the size and age, and unless it's a really brand new, like clean bat. This one was fairly new, but it wasn't all that clean. Not too bad, too scuffed, but I still got $39 out of it, plus they paid for the shipping. So again, nice little flip. I love to spend less than $5 on something and make 20 or more on it pretty fast. Here's another real fun one, guys, that I paid $5 for at Goodwill, and it was called a smocking pleater. I didn't know what this was at all. I had no clue what this thing was, but I looked it up, and they were selling for between $150 and $200. So I threw that sucker up. It took 2 weeks, but when I finally put it up at an auction, I think I started it at $100. An auction, it was bid up to $162.50 and $55 in shipping there. So they paid me quite a bit. It's quite a heavy item, and so anyhow, I was quite happy to see that sell. Here were some Bakugan cards. I bought this in a bag for $10 at a Goodwill, and that was a little bit of a stretch, but you can see here all these different old vintage Bakugan ones. 15 bids, $53. Was happy with that. I like to ship things that are a little bit smaller than this, but I knew I could make a decent profit on it, so I went forward anyways. All right, before we take a break, I'm going to do this in here. This is I was familiar with Cutco knives, Cutco silver, just different types of knives. They're real sharp, really nice knives. I didn't know that they made sporting ones until I came across this, and it was basically unused in the box still. And they had this thing listed for $45. I paid $45 for it, but I was able to turn that around and within a month sell it for $150. And I was quite pleased with what that brought. All the Valentine stuff. Check that out. Tons of these old ones. There wasn't probably, what do they want here? $3.51. You got all of these. Toys, tools. There's an Eastern Airlines. Look at this. Brass rail, 12 bucks. Store Club, $35. I got like a dozen of the Store Clubs. No joking. Star Wars. Folks, this one was awesome. I paid $5.50 for this pair, basically brand new. I mean, look at that. They've like never been worn. Tony Lama ostrich boots. $5.50 turned that into $145 in 3 days. That thing sold. Didn't even take a best offer, like they just wanted it. And so it was really exciting. If you can find good condition boots by good brands, those things can sell for $100 or more, like in this case. Here was just an example of some of these Nike Jordan 1s. I don't sell tons of shoes, but if I do, I personally like the retro look of the Jordan 1s. And so those are the ones that I buy. A lot of times, I buy these for around $100 to $120, and I hold on to them for 6 months and then I sell them. And this was a perfect example. I held on to it for 6 months and I sold it for basically 200 bucks. Only made about $40 profit off that, but that's not too bad. Here's another example of these matchbooks that I've been selling. These are what they would call bobtails. And by that, what happened was, actually this one in the middle is not. I can tell how it's kind of rounded off. It's got the striker on the other side. But these were cut off, the striker. And so a lot of people don't like to collect those. But that's why I threw some of these up in a little lot. And these are all soda-based. This is the Knee-High company with the soda advertisements there. $10. Not too bad. This person always has good stuff. This is the vintage Halloween stuff I've talked about. Old plastic stuff, old metal stuff, old toys. This stuff sells for good money, and look what else they got. They got Santa Clauses that is wearing a color other than red. So blue over here, and purplish blue over here. They want $15 a piece. If you can find these for $3 or less, you can always make that much. Here, and look, I just picked up this pair of Nike Jordans. It's a 13C size, so little kids, like youth, basically. They need to be a little bit cleaned up, but for $2.50, this is definitely going to work out pretty well for me. It's lovely to see these in the store for such a cheap price. Keep a lookout for vintage or even newer Nikes that are in good condition at thrift stores. Guys, here's a good example of scrap lots that I sometimes sell. If I come across pieces of costume jewelry or that are in costume jewelry bags or things that people just thought were worthless, and it turns out they are marked on them, that they're 925 sterling silver or something like that, then I'll put these little pieces, if they're broken or if they're like an earring that's missing the other pair or something like that, until I get around 50 grams or more, and then I'll throw it up into an auction. You can see that people will buy this just for the scrap silver and they'll melt it down. So 21 bids here. $28.55. I don't know honestly how much I spent on all this, but it was cents per overtime, so probably not more than $5 at the high end on that stuff. So if you ever, that's one way of selling stuff, is selling it for scrap, if it's sort of like missing pieces or broken. This is some vintage or older stitchery patterns here. You can see a lot of it's Christmas themed. It looks like there's 3, 6, 7 of these plus some extra thread there, and I paid 50 cents a piece for these. So 1, 2, 3, yeah, so we were under $4 for this whole lot, and it sold for $32. I could have tried to sell these individually, but just for time's sake, and they were all themed with Christmas, I decided to sell them to one person, and I'm still pretty happy with what I got out of that. Here was this cool guitar, and if you look back in our channel, you can find a video where I got this in and talked about it and did a little bit of work on it, played it a little bit. And so anyhow, beautiful little old vintage, I mean early 1900s, maybe late 1800s, it says 1910, I guess is what I had. Beautiful instrument there. And this thing sold for $9.50. I paid around $5.50 for it, and I held on to it for about 6 months and then sold it. This is one of those examples where I sourced it, I bought it on eBay, and then I turned around 6 months later and sold it on eBay. Made about $300 profit. Here's another example of gold, of a gold scrap lot, broken piece of stuff, some stones, some diamonds and such. I sold this 52 grams for $1,715 because it was 52 grams of 14 karat solid gold. And then here we go, Hasbro G.I. Joe Retro. These are the ones that come out at Walmart and Target right now. Really awesome. I paid $12 a piece for these, so I was $26 roughly in, and basically doubled my money there after shipping or after fees and shipping. I really only probably turned about $20 profit, but it's better than nothing. This was a cool one, guys. I paid what did I pay for this? I paid $40. That's right. I took a chance. I didn't know, but I paid $40 for this at a recent local estate sale that I go to every other week. This was so cool, guys. It had these little figurines that I think were carved out of bone. They were hand painted, and then there was this green enamel paint that was painted on the metal. This is kind of like a filigree in the back there, welded. Super cool. Early 1900s, probably 1920s, 1930s Asian piece. This thing sold within 2 hours of me putting it up for $250. What that tells me is that I could have got a lot more. I should have put it for higher, but still, turning 40 into 250 in less than 3 hours, I'll take that every day. And then last one here, before we take another break, I bought at the same estate sale. I paid $6 for it. This is an old key fob for a hotel room. The key's missing, but this is fob. I paid $6. I sold it within a day as well for $30. Not a bad flip. Take a look at this. It's a nifty little thing. This is the brand is called Fenton, and it's what they call a hobnail design. This is like a light blue color. It would have had a little crystal like a stopper there, or roughly the same type as this. It's missing it, but I paid $1 for this at a thrift store, and these are selling anywhere from $14, $20. This kind of like these little this textured ball thing that comes out helps you know kind of. A lot of times you'll see ones that are clear or white. They're in different colors. Keep a lookout for this stuff. It's pretty collectible. Yet another booth. I've already pulled out a couple that are pretty good condition ones. It's embossed. It's just beautiful, and it says Ellen Clapp saddle on it. It's artist signed. They want $3.04. Here's one with Santa in green. Here's a quick video on postcards. I just came across some in an antique store. I wanted to show you good examples. Honestly, 3 great examples of the type of thing to look for that can bring money. First off, really good quality early 1900s postcards that are embossed. You can see how it's imprinted there, pressed into the paper, the outline of the person. Good artwork, and at the bottom here you can see it says Ellen H. Clapsaddle. She was a very famous artist. Back there you can see it says copyrighted in 1909. A great Christmas one. This will bring some good money because it's got the artist's signature. Over here we got Santa Claus, and he's wearing a color other than red, green. Blues, purples, greens can bring real good money. This is early 1900s, 1900-something, 7 or 8, something like that. But that's an awesome one because it's an old one of Santa Claus wearing a different color. And then you got this silly one right here. The Katunka Tribe, number 453, Degree Team, 1921. And what it appears that we're looking at here, folks, is a real picture postcard. That is true, it is. You can kind of see that shimmer. Well, it's inside of this plastic, but you can kind of see the shimmer on the card itself there. This is a bunch of Caucasian white men dressed up in, I guess, a traditional ceremonial Native American garb. But you can see these are all white guys with mustaches or beards. And it's super bizarre. But real picture postcards of odd things like this, old ones, can really go for a good amount of money. And just look at this. I looked it up and look what I found. This is not the exact card. You can see on mine, the bottom, it's white lettering. This one seems to be typed. Look what it says. It says that this is a group that was in the New York, Pennsylvania chapter, or the York, Pennsylvania chapter of the Improved Order of Red Men. There was an old fraternal organization called the Improved Order of Red Men. It says obviously that's considered an offensive term for Native Americans, and everyone in here does not appear, at least initially, to be a Native American. And so why were they a part of this group? What was the purpose of this group? But they call themselves I guess the oldest fraternal organization in the United States. So very interesting. I didn't know that before I got it. I just got it because I knew, because of how strange it was, and that it was a real photograph that could bring some good money. Keep a lookout for real photograph postcards, bizarre, odd, eccentric content, old greeting cards, Santa Claus wearing other colors than red, and then really good quality old photographs, or postcards rather, that have an artist signature on it. And just look up, artist postcard or artist signed, and see what types of artists tend to be selling the best. That'll give you a great idea. Good luck out there. Hey, Peaches. Yeah, you missed a spot right over there, man. Hate to say it, but you know, gotta keep this place pristine. Thank you so much for sticking around. Guys, if you haven't done it yet, subscribe to the channel. Tell all your friends and all your enemies and really anybody you see about this channel because it helps everybody out. Take care. Rusty, how to. Rusty,